I do love our intro music. I love it. It gets me hyped up every single time I hear it. You know?
I love it too.
It's awesome.
Yes.
All right.
It makes me wish I could play guitar every time I hear it. And I honestly, I go an entire week in between never thinking about a guitar until that intro again. And I'm like, I wish I could play guitar.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So for Christmas, what you're saying is I need to get you guitar lessons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
Let's start with Spanish. I got to finish that one out.
You want to get Spanish guitar lessons? That's different.
Is it? I thought guitar was universal.
Well, like the what do they call the like that quick picking that they do?
Oh, I don't know.
I
know nothing about it.
Dude, why are you doing this to me? This is the second time in 2 minutes you are just poking my brain going, oh my gosh.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Renatus J.A.M. I'm Jay Stark. Joining me as always, my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Mr. Matt Snyder. And we're excited to be here today for a number of different reasons. But first and foremost, I got to say, welcome back, Matt. We took a week off in your absence.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that you're back.
It's good to be back.
Right on.
It was an awesome time. I'm sure we can talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. But before we do, I got to ask the question.
Okay.
Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
What's new and exciting?
Well, regionals.
Regionals.
Yeah, we got regionals.
Yeah, buddy.
There's quite a few of them. As a matter of fact, do we have a schedule?
We do. Let's see if we can get that schedule thrown up real quick on the screen so that you guys can take a look at it. But there we go. We've got Washington, D.C. coming up the 14th and 15th of October. And then we have Chicago the 21st and 22nd. Chi-Town. And then Florida, Fort Lauderdale is the 4th and 5th. Salt Lake is the 11th and 12th of November.
And then Phoenix in November.
Bringing up the end is Phoenix.
That's right, when it's finally nice in Phoenix.
Jane Bundy sent a text and she just said, wow, you guys are still here. Amazing. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
Oh, I don't either. Either that means we never quit. Or she's like, you guys suck.
You guys are still here? Oh, Jane, I hope it was you guys are still here. Yay.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. So back to the regionals.
Yep.
At every single regional, we have a lineup of a couple of really cool guests, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We've got Miss Nanci Rowe and Eric Counts, who are traveling to most of the regionals. Mm-hmm. I think there's one that they're not going to be going to. Okay. And then we have surprise guests that we're going to talk about in just a moment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we have Mr. Bob Snyder at every single regional.
Yep.
And there are local and regional leaders in every area who are going to be coming as well. So I think every market has a few of the local leaders that are going to be training as well.
Yep. Yeah, so that's as I understand it. Now I think there's groupies. They go to multiple regionals that just want to go. Every year there seems to be a few of them.
So we shouldn't call them groupies because groupie kind of has that.
To have a bad,
like a connotation.
Right, it's one of those times. That's one of those things that I stepped in it, and I didn't mean it like.
He said it, and he started to backtrack
like that. Yeah.
So
I remember the last time I did that too. But
you know what?
Hang
on. Scott had an award. What did he call that?
Wait, so groupies aren't just people that go to they follow the rock concert wherever it goes?
Well, typically it means that they have more of a personal relationship with band members.
Okay, I'm gathering what it is just by looking at our guest's face right now because it's written all over. Okay,
oh my gosh.
Oops, I stepped in it again.
All right. I did it again. Oh, man.
Yes, so... we don't have groupies.
Okay.
We have.
Right. So Scott actually came up with an award a few years back that he released at the national conference for anybody who made it around to every single regional with him. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what that award was called. It was like the Wanderer or the Nomad or something like that. I can't remember. But we should really refer to any of those people who are traveling to multiple regionals as serious about their business. That's what we should really call them.
That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
There needs to be a name for it.
Serious about their business.
We should shorten it.
Shorten it.
A name. There needs to be a name. We'll come up with something.
All right. I'll think about it.
If you have a name for it,
go ahead and leave it in the comments.
Leave it there. If you're watching this later or whatever, put it in the YouTube comments or something.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. All right. So we've got DC, Chicago, Florida, which is Fort Lauderdale, and then Salt Lake and Phoenix is going to be our last event of the year. Now, the good news is only one regional has taken place so far, and that's been in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't make it to the Denver regional, the good news is that any of those presenters that go to multiple regionals tend to get better with more practice.
Yeah.
Right? They get a little bit more conditioned, and so make a plan now wherever you are to get to your closest regional, because every single one's going to get a little bit better and a little bit more polished in the presentation. However, the information in its purity is going to be the same at every regional. So make it a point to take your business serious enough to go to the regional, to learn from the best in the business, and to get the most up-to-date training that you're going to get anywhere inside of Renatus.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
It is. It really is. And I mean, each regional has special guests that are coming.
Yeah.
So I know that Hugh Zaretsky is going to be training at the DC regional.
Oh, awesome.
I know that in Chicago you're going to have Bob Tierney, you're going to have Nancy and Scott, you're going to have all of their leaders with Eric and with Bob. Snyder's going to be there, and then our special guest that we haven't really disclosed yet is going to be there as well. In Florida, I know that they actually invited Don Fowler, who is the creator and mastermind behind Renatus iOS. He's going to be going to their regional.
That's
I know
cool.
in Salt Lake they've got Rob Sperry coming. And I'm not sure about Phoenix. I don't know who else is going to Phoenix. I got to get on the phone with Bill Predamon and get some more information.
Yeah, definitely.
But make it.
But Phoenix, I mean, it's going to be an awesome regional. I'm sure, especially the last, right? Like
it's. What was the date on that? Give me the dates one more time. November 18th
and 19th, I think, is what.
Or 17th, 18th. What was it?
18th and 19th.
November 18th and 19th. Can you think of a more perfect time to go to Phoenix than November?
That's what I'm saying. January might be.
January might be just a little bit better.
Just because it's worse wherever else in the country you are.
So here's the deal. We're gonna wrap it up in Phoenix. But if you are anywhere within flying distance of a regional,
well, that's literally anywhere on the planet.
That's literally anywhere on the planet. Then you need to make a point to get to at least one.
Yeah, agreed.
If not all of them.
At a minimum.
Yes.
One.
So, other new and exciting.
Yeah, we've got. You know what? I should have asked you, but when is our next 10-day challenge?
Funny, you should ask that question. We're on day number 2.
Oh, I didn't even know it started this time. That's how busy I've been. Oh my gosh, man.
So it started yesterday. Our 10-day challenge started yesterday, and we have just droves of people showing up. It's so much fun to see the excitement right out of the gate.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever been to like a professional race, like a marathon or anything like that, and they fire the gun at the beginning, and so everybody like bolts.
Oh yeah,
like that's the kind of energy we always get on day 1. Yeah. By the time we get to about day 7, day 8, you're starting to, that's like in a marathon, that's mile 18.
Yeah, right? Yeah. What is it about mile 18, man? It gets you.
You know, it's so funny because I'm actually reading Can't Hurt Me right now by David Goggins. Fantastic book about motivation, about self-awareness and all that. Tons of language.
A little bit.
Tons
there's
language.
a little bit.
So
I listened to it on Audible.
Yeah, I'm just going to put that out there as a forewarning. There's a ton of language.
Not exactly something to turn on around the kids.
But he did talk about it. He's like, at mile 18, your body has burned all of the
glycogen.
Thank you. All of the glycogen, and so you have to replenish that store
then you're burning,
along the way.
You're actually using fat for fuel, which is painful.
Yeah.
And that's why it wants to stay there.
He said it takes about 2 miles of running before you can get to that point where your body starts to converts its fuel source.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and this guy has run so many miles.
Well, yeah, if you're not familiar with David Goggins, he runs ultra marathons, 100-milers and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's done it on broken feet and crazy. He's crazy.
Oh, man. His very first one. That's the part of the book that I just got through is when he went through his very first 24-hour race.
Right. Yep.
And so what he's doing is he's trying to qualify for the, what's it called? What's the run called through Death Valley?
I don't remember.
Bad something. Oh, man, I can't remember. Anyway, so he's this race that he's trying to qualify for. They have over 1,000 applicants a year, but they only take like 100 people or 90 people, I think, total, because of the massive risk it runs for people who are running the course. Mm-hmm. Because there's a high chance, if somebody is not conditioned for it, that they're going to injure themselves or potentially die. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to prove that he's ready. And so with 3 days notice, he basically runs a 24-hour race and knows that he has to clip 100 miles. Mm-hmm. And he does. And when you hear him talk about it, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal. So anyway, today is day number 2 of our 10-day challenge, which means that's probably like, mile 4 right now in a marathon.
Yeah.
And most people are still feeling pretty good, and maybe past the first water station around mile 3. And,
yeah. No kidding, huh? Okay. Yeah. I like that. So great analogy. And, that's when things take off, is past mile 18.
That's right. So
gotta go through the tough stuff.
It's really interesting. Let me ask you this question, Matthew, because I know that you work out quite a bit. You're very fitness minded, and you've been around the fitness world for a long time. Mm-hmm. Which repetition is the most beneficial?
Well, what are you asking?
So when you're doing a set, let's say that you're doing a bench press, right? Mm-hmm. Which rep is going to be the most beneficial if you do? Let's say you're doing a set of
what you're saying.
8.
I would say the last 2 past the point you couldn't go anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, those are the ones that get me, and that's where all the benefit comes from, because you could do this. Let's say just for argument's sake, you do 3 sets of 10 on your chest once a week, and if you do that every week, you're not going to grow, you're not going to really tear the muscle down. You're going to get to a certain point and stall. But if you add, 2 reps onto the back end of that, you're going to obviously get stronger as time goes on. But if you're about to die by rep 10, you should do 2 more. That's what I do, at least. And usually that very last one, it doesn't look very pretty.
And you're probably making some weird noises.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter, because
that's
what's
where
happening
the growth comes from.
Is the growth.
Or
that's
I should say the tearing down, and then you grow, but you heal.
But see, that's the point. The hardest rep, the last rep that you do, is the most beneficial rep.
Yeah.
And so as people are going through the 10-day challenge, if you've started the 10-day challenge before and only made it to day 4 or day 5 because you hit a hard spot for whatever reason, that's okay. Don't sit there and beat yourself up about it. Instead, pick yourself up and get into the next challenge and see if you can make it to day 6 this time, day 7, day 8. See how far you can go, because you'll never know if you don't try, first of all. And second of all, we are so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for.
Absolutely. David Goggins says, when you think you've gone as far as you can possibly go, you still actually have 60% left, right? He's that 40% rule. You've only done 40% of what you really can do. And I think I think in endurance training that's true. That's not necessarily true in like lifting or something like that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But the repetition, to keep going through it is true.
Yeah. For sure.
Our bodies are designed with these like fail safes in them to say, oh, no, you better stop there, because if you go any further, it's going to hurt.
Yeah. Or you're gonna wear yourself out, or
right,
whatever. And the truth is that that's not true. And I think people do that all the time in business and in other avenues of life, where it's like, oh, I'm doing so many things, I can't do more, I can't take on more. And there's generally, I'd say generally speaking, you're probably the 40% rule is probably true in those cases.
Yeah. I love that. Just reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger's, what was it? The eight rules of success.
I think 6.
6 rules of success, where one of them was sleep quicker.
Yeah. He's like,
I love that.
You need to get a full 8 hours and you only have 6 hours to sleep. Sleep faster, I would recommend.
So great. So great. All right. So the last new and exciting that we have coming up, this one is just kind of as a to be aware of in the next little while, is we're going to have Icm Renewals coming up.
Yes.
Starting December 1st.
Yep.
So what are the parameters look like around that, just as a reminder for everybody?
Well, it starts December 1st. You've got those 30 days to renew. It's for anybody who's already signed up as an ICM. Those that have purchased their ICM past October 1st won't need to pay a renewal fee. And those that have signed up past June 1st, what is it, $125? Is that what it is? Yep. So they'll pay $125 for the renewal instead of the $197.
So if you signed up as an ICM in 2022, between the months of January and June, so between January 1st and June 1st, then you're going to pay a full $197 renewal fee. Mm-hmm. If you signed up between June 1st and the end of September, so between June 1st and October 1st, then you would pay $125.
Yeah.
If you sign up October 1st or later, you don't have to pay a renewal fee. The renewal fee is $0. However, you still have to go through and sign all of the documentation.
Yes. So make sure you do sign those documents and renew. Because we've had people that haven't in the past.
Yeah, we've had several people who get in there who maybe sign up in the middle of November and then didn't realize they had to go back in and sign the documents again.
Right.
And then miss out and are frustrated because they're no longer an ICM come the new year.
Yeah. Yep.
So
get in there and sign it. Don't forget. There will be reminders in your back office though.
Yes. Okay. I thought you were going to say something else.
Sometimes I just do that to him to mess with him.
That's not very kind, Matthew.
I'm just teasing. I didn't mean to.
All right, so here's what I'd love to do. I want to do a recap a little bit about your experience where you were last week. Okay. But in order to do that, I think to do it full justice, we should bring out our guest.
I completely agree.
Yes. So how about this? How about I start the introduction, you finish it, and bring out our guest?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Now, you may be able to guess just by our introduction who our guest is, because she is one of our all-time favorite people. In fact, she is such one of my favorite people that I mistakenly created an entire Renatus J.A.M episode in my mind where she had been here before, and yet when we were talking to her before the show, she told us, I've never been on the call. So then I wasted time actually looking to try to prove her wrong somehow, because I have in my mind this entire episode that we played. Yeah, no, she has never been on the J.A.M. So I'm super excited that we get to bring out, honestly, she's the PAC member who has committed so much to the building up of and the sustaining of the Renatus community that her sign of wrapping everything in a hug is exactly how she shows up everywhere she goes. We're truly honored to have her with us today.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is somebody who has dedicated her life to Renatus. I mean, at this point, the amount of service and contribution that she's given to this community is unparalleled. And not only been around to all the regionals and helped all of those events and everything that she puts on. She's a huge part of nationals. She's a huge part of Leaders Retreat. And everything else, all the other events that take place in between those that we're not involved in, right?
Yeah.
And so
yep.
She's also the person who I think is best equipped to keep Scott Rowe on track. Let's bring out Nanci Rowe.
Miss Nanci Rowe. Welcome
You know what else I forgot is I think that you're our highest lifetime earner in Renatus.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got people kicking on my heels, though, so I'm doing some stuff. Can you see me? Am I here?
Yes, we can see you.
Yep.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
Okay, can I tell you a story?
Absolutely.
So I was watching, I don't know if it was Tamara's J.A.M, and this was last week, and I was thinking, I have never been invited to the J.A.M. Like, what do I have to do, and who do I have to be to be invited? And then Matt sends me a message, and I was like, manifestation.
Right?
Because I put it in the world, and I was
you put it out there.
Because Jay, you and I did a Founders Live one time where it was just you and me that Bob was traveling, and I think that's what you're remembering. But it wasn't a jam because there wasn't all this cool stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
man! I tell you what, it is. I am a little bit embarrassed that you've never been out on the jam, and I can promise you this will not be the last time. In fact, we're going to work through our schedule. We're going to get you on again before the end of the year so we can do another recap of how all of the regionals went.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We definitely need that.
Yeah.
After all the, I want to hear it. You know, I'm not going to some of these, and I want to hear how it goes.
Me too. But I'm grateful that you're here, and I cannot overstate the amount of time and sacrifice that you commit to the Renatus community. You are the reason why we can call ourselves family. You know, you love talking about the sticky. You talk about how you get places and you feel that sticky. Well, you are our sticky. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm feeling excited, except I wish I had some headphones. I wanted to get some just to aesthetically be part of the crew, but
most people don't have them. Oh, look at Jay.
I'll take them off.
Look at that.
No, you can keep them on. It feels super official when you have headphones on.
Yeah. You know, yeah, you do, because I can hear myself through the mic, and so it does make you feel.
I do find myself talking a little bit lower.
You feel like a radio host or something, yeah. So
welcome.
Yeah, it's really official.
It is. So tell us about your report from Denver. I'm super excited to hear how your experience was.
Okay, so you know what's crazy is I go to these events and I'm always inspired by the people's stories because I don't always get to hear that. And, you know, but this is the first regional actual season in 3 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I realized how much of an impact it was going to make on me. I've been around 16 years with Bob, right? And definitely since Renatus started. So I was moved. And I was sitting at the table with all the other leaders. Matt was there. And we all needed that. We always say, like, either you need the meeting or the meeting needs you. And I don't think that we all realized how much we needed to be together and feel that. But what was great was all the speakers, like, we all talked about everything that we talked about fit together. Yeah. Right. So what Greg talked about, and then Sharon Lecter just like shows up out of nowhere. She just walks in and it was like,
yeah.
At first it was complete silence, and then the room was like, but to have Sharon Lecter in a super small, intimate setting, and she's always like, I remember when she came to our nationals, and we got to see her on our stage, and because her and Bob are such dear friends, and they go back so far, it was great. But you know, she was out, you know, speaking at Greg's event that he had a little bit earlier. So she just decided to pop in and just took the stage for like 15, 20 minutes. I mean, we would have let her had it for as long as she wanted because, you know, she was talking about retiring. She's like, I'll never retire. But I think what was really great, and it says a lot about her, is that she's very mindful of who she spends her time with, like who she shares her energy with. And she's like, I'm never going to retire. What does that even look like? I just now choose, and I only spend time with people. So the fact that she was at Greg's event, the fact that she came to this event, and her love for Bob and her friendship with Greg was really, it really touched me a lot, right? Because, you know, she took time to come to our group, to hang out with us.
It was really
not scheduled.
Really special.
It was a drop-in.
Yeah, a total drop-in. She wasn't on the schedule. I mean, my understanding is that Greg had asked her, hey, if you can, pop in. She was headed to the airport. You know, she was leaving Denver, and she stopped in for about 20 minutes and just took the stage, and it was phenomenal what she talked about, you know. But why? It was really cool. And then, you know, just everybody. I completely agree with what you said, Nancy. I needed that. I needed that event. I needed, you know, I mean, because you don't think of, you know, us at corporate or you as a PAC member or something needing the meeting, right? Like you're hosting it, you're speaking, you're doing all this stuff. But it was the first time in 3 years. It was good to get back, and we needed it.
And for the Denver crew, this was the first time in like 5 years, right? They haven't had one there in Denver.
2016.
16.
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years. And it seems to me like most of the Denver crew was new since the last regional, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so most of these guys had never been to a regional, is my understanding. And we actually it was Julie Dale who hosted, and then she invited...
Knocked it out of the park, this girl.
Did she?
She did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she did awesome.
And then she invited, she invited Greg to MC the event. Is that correct?
Yep.
Right on. So let's talk a little bit about Mr. Greg Kimball. You know, I've heard his name 1,000 times now in the last 3 weeks, but he's kind of an unknown for a lot of our community. You know, for those who attended the Leaders Retreat, we all saw him and got a chance to get to know him. He was also here on the J.A.M. a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And
3 weeks ago, I think.
But outside of that exposure, we haven't really had him in front of the Renatus group very much. So, Nanci, what was your perspective of Greg?
Okay, you want me to, I'm going to be real honest right now. You ready?
I'm ready.
At first, I didn't want to like him.
That is honest.
Only because of the fact that, you know, I didn't know much about him, and it always makes me nervous because we're so mindful of who we put in front of our group and our people. So I specifically sat next to him when we were in Costa Rica. I specifically made sure that we were sitting next to each other so I could get to know him a little bit. Yeah. And I was like, wow, he just seems like a really great guy. And then through the planning of the Denver Regional, like we'd have some planning sessions and he was on there. But he, as much as experience as he has in just the world and building businesses, like this guy's 30 years old and he's, you know, created multiple businesses that are, you know, $1 million businesses. I mean, it's really impressive. Yeah. What I love about him is like he's very relator-like to me. So I really grasped onto that. So yes, it's about making money and taking care of yourself, but then it's really about what value can I add to the community? Like what can I add? What can I bring to the table instead of taking off the table? And I had to remind myself throughout the whole entire weekend that he has not been here as long as I have been. So it was really different for me to create those relationships with people. Like I look at my crew here in Chicago or in any of the markets, and we just look at each other and we know what needs to happen, what we need to do. And he was on stage doing something and he looked at me and I knew exactly what I needed to do. And I went and I handled it. And he was like, thanks for doing that. But we didn't say a word to each other. And I just met this guy. And here's another thing. His mom and I are besties. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but you can tell a lot about somebody based on their parents, right? And so Matt was sitting in the audience next to his mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if he, like I said, I just wanted to let you know, I walked up to him and I said, I don't know if you know, but we have a seat over here for you at the table if you want to. And he looks at me and goes, I think I'm just going to sit right here for a little bit. And I was like, oh, it's Greg's mom.
Yeah. She's awesome. She's really, I love Greg's mom. And
Greg makes sense to me now because of her. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. She's a rock star.
I see where he gets it. I see that. So we're besties. By the way, her birthday's in 2 days, and it's gonna be great.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, I think it's not just you can tell a lot about somebody by their parents, but also their relation to their parents, their relationship to them. Mm-hmm. You know, because sometimes I think people are who they are because of their parents, and sometimes they are who they are in spite of who their parents. So there's a lot of, I don't want to, because I know, like, you know, with my parents things are rocky sometimes, right. and so I'm not always.
I think everyone's does.
Yeah.
That was perfect way to say that, because that's what I meant was the relationship, and he's just so sweet with her too, right? Like he's so proud of his mama, and she takes care of stuff. So it was great to be able to spend time with him, even though he was running around and doing all the things and stuff. It was really awesome, and the message that he shared so lit a fire under everyone that even everybody in leadership was just like, wow, this is like there's no accidents, like perfect timing where people come into your life to help take things to a next level and all of that. And I was like, even Scott was like, you want him to come to Chicago? And I go, heck yeah, like whatever we got to do to make that happen. And, you know, Scott was like, wow, you're not easy to,
to convince there, right? Like
you're not easy.
Not
and
upon introduction.
I feel like I'm a little more, even though I'm the relator and the love on the people, I feel like I'm a little bit more guarded in that. And I just, right off the bat, I just really loved his message. I think it fits in exactly with who we are, where we're going. It's perfect.
Yes. I think you protect your people.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
You're a protector.
You're like a mama bear with your community,
and
for sure.
That's what it is. I don't think it's you are a relator, but I as I've seen it or watched it play out, I feel like you're being protective of your people. You want to make sure you put the right kind of people in front of them.
Yeah. So
it's a blessing and a curse.
So
I can see the sharp side of that sword for real.
So tell me, now that you've gotten a chance to get to know Greg a little bit better, you've met his mom, you've seen him as his presentation skills, both as an MC and a guest speaker and a performer. We haven't even gotten to that part yet, but But tell me a little bit. So the invitation has been extended. Is that correct?
It has been, and he has accepted. So he is going to be coming out to all the markets. I know that he had a conflict, I think, with Chicago. I haven't heard anything yet, but he's doing what he can to figure it out. But he's coming to all the different markets to be able to come and hang out. So I know that they're working out the flights and things like that. So he's going to be able to come into the markets. But what I love about him is even while we were all training and he would sit in the back, like, yes, he does all these amazing things, but I don't ever feel that he feels that he knows all the stuff, right? So you could see little things clicking for him as he went back there. Like he's still absorbing like a sponge and just kind of taking us in as much as well. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah. And my favorite part is that he is not getting paid at all to go to these regionals. He is doing it because he wants to contribute and give to the Renatus family. He was able to spend time with you, Matt, and with Bob during the 5-star Winter Circle trip in Africa. Mm-hmm. And because of that trip, he absolutely sold out to the Renatus community saying, this is where I belong.
Yeah, we had
How could you not?
Quite a bit of time to feel each other out.
Right? Being that atmosphere and being around that, shoot.
Yeah, spending 9 to 13 hours a day inside of a vehicle in Kenya, driving around. We got a lot of time to get to know each other, and that's exactly the way that we left Kenya. Was like, how could we not bring this guy?
Right. Well, and it sounds like he is just continuing to prove himself in the Renatus community. He came to the leaders retreat. He absolutely gave with all of his heart, and now through the Denver regional, he has just proven that he is somebody who is Renatus centric. And so the invitation's been extended. I would love to see him get to all the regionals. I didn't know that there may have been a conflict with Chicago. I better talk to him about that.
Yeah, I know. That'll be a bummer if he can't make it, because I really want him to go to Chicago and see what that's about.
I do know he's going to be in D.C. for sure. And so I'm really excited about that. But this is just another opportunity that proves who Bob really is and who Bob attracts into Renatus.
Yeah.
I love when these amazing people are attracted to Bob and just want to be near him. And so they take part in Renatus because of that. Nancy, you're a great example of that.
Yeah.
He's such a great example to follow. Like it's not like I just look at him and it's easy because I just like everyone's like, oh, you're so awesome. I'm like, well, I just do what this guy does. And then you just do that.
Well, but you guys have been doing that before Greg came along. So.
She's talking about Bob.
You're talking about Bob. Oh, I thought you were
talking about your dad.
Okay, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that. I was like, you guys have been doing that a long time. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing that for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Greg falls into that same, he falls into the same mindset and, about building a community and how important it is and how important it is to give back and to, the fact that he was willing to come out. Like this guy, he's going to Canada and he's doing all these speaking events, and people pay him to come in, and he's donating his time that he doesn't have really.
Pay him a lot of money,
right? To come to 6 different markets.
Yeah.
So that's like, we're talking about 8 weeks basically of, in and out, and they got a little kid, and you know what I mean? It's just a lot. So the fact that he did that even said more, because I think a lot of times people want to come in and see what they can get from a community, and and I'm into that, but you got to make sure that people's heart is in the right place, and I really 100% believe that with him. Like, he's so genuine, and I think the message that he brought is what everybody needs to hear. I've been telling everybody in our impacts, on our trainings, you deserve to get yourself to an event. I don't care how you figure it out, you get there. You deserve to hear what is going to happen at that event. Denver changed people, period, end of story.
Yeah.
And the sticky that happened, we were so gooey and stuck together, we just couldn't stop hugging each other. It was like, it's a relator's dream and an executive's nightmare. But what are you going to do?
I think I got 9 hugs from Bob Tierney alone, and I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad about it at all. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
I love that guy.
If you have not had an opportunity to get a hug from Bobby T, that is reason alone that's enough to get to a regional.
That's
right.
I love that guy.
Oh man,
yes.
I love giving him a hug, and then he'll always, dude, we're right at the beginning. This is so freaking awesome. We're right here, right now, man.
Best.
We're gonna blow this thing up. I love it.
He's the best.
Oh, he's like, bro, and then I'm like, who you're talking to, and he's like, sorry, dear. He called me dear. Everybody else is like, bro, you have no idea. I'm gonna be like, dear.
I'm gonna start calling you that, Nancy. Dear.
Bro. Yeah, dear.
If he calls you bro, just call him Chick back. Just say Chick.
Nice.
All right,
there you go.
Yeah. What's up?
I never thought of a comeback to that. I'd just be like, have you forgot who you're talking to right now? What's happening here? What is this about?
It's funny. You can't even be mad at that guy when he does stuff like that. You just love him even more.
No.
So tell me the importance, the level of importance for you that you would assign to attending a regional. So if there's somebody who's maybe never heard of a regional, never been to a regional, who's on the line listening with us right now, what would you say to them? What's the level of importance that they be there?
It's the most important thing that you could do for your business in this moment. I think when we all first start, it's really about, well, what's in it for me, which is important. We have to make sure that we are aligning ourselves and taking care of our families, and everything that we do is in caring for that. But the most important thing to build your business is when it moves from your head to your heart, because your why has always got to be the thing that's in front of you. The trainings that happen there are they will catapult people's businesses 6 months easily. If you're not there, you're really missing out. So the motivation is great. The relationships and the camaraderie is awesome. The training is going to be good. Debbie Worthington just called me, and she's like, we have so many speakers. Cosmo's coming now.
Oh, Cosmo's
Michael just sent her a message. So Cosmo's coming to Florida.
Nice.
We have but I love it, right? It's going to be so great. So all these different markets, will have different speakers, but it changed me being there. I've been here for forever. I'm like one of the OGs in this place. And it was, I wasn't going to go because I already had a plan for Matt's senior pictures. And when I was sitting next to Greg impulsed me. Like, he literally was like, you have no idea what you're going to miss. And I was like, oh, I've heard this before. But I was like, okay, I'm in. So I moved everything so that I could get on a flight, that I could come and be at the awards banquet, watch him speak, that I could speak, get on a 5:00 flight home to Chicago so I could pick up Matt at the airport. Grammy was zooming him up there, and I was driving up to Wisconsin because I knew that it was going to be really important. And in my head, when I was doing it for everybody else is why I was going, right? Because, they need to hear from me. And then when I left, I was like, wow, I really, I needed that. I needed all of it. I needed the whole entire thing. I needed the seeing of the people. I needed the hugging of the people. I needed to hear the trainings that happened. Sharon was great. I was just there Friday. I had to leave Saturday, so I didn't get to see the training. Scott was like, well, you don't know how good the training was on Saturday. I go, well, you don't know how good the training was on Friday, because Scott flew in on Friday. Yeah. And our big thing is, like, we have a nation that we need to watch out, that we need to take care of. Right. So even when the meeting was happening on Thursday night, I was there at the hotel, but I had 101 people registered for an online intro that I was doing. Right. So, and then Scott stayed in Chicago so that he could handle 30/30 and make sure that 30/30 was covered. And then he got on a flight on Friday. So it was just really, I think how we all work together for us is so great. And I'm excited. Denver was a great kickoff, but I'll tell you what, these other markets got some really cool things planned. And then we also do something after. So on the Saturday night, each market will plan something that's more specific to them. Like, we do a Halloween party every single year. We call it Scarioke. So, but that's where, so you get the training, but the relationships. Because I'm going to tell you what, through this pandemic, what kind of held everybody together was the relationships that we had. I mean, we had here at 30/30, we couldn't even be in the building for 15 months. We could not gather for 15 months.
That's rough.
Right? So to keep our arms around each other was the relationships that happened. It was the same thing between 2008 and 10. And then I never thought that I'd experiencing anything like that. And then welcome to 2020. It was something on a completely different scale. So I think we all kind of got into these maybe not so great habits, getting used to the Zooms and all those different things. But now seeing that we're kind of past all that, and you can see that in the rearview mirror, and getting to the live events is critical. Like, you need to get out of your houses. You deserve to come. I don't care where you are. You need to get in your car, get on a train. I know people that are taking Amtrak.
Wow.
Driving in.
Wow.
Right? So, whatever it is that you need to do to figure it out, go.
Yeah. Nanci, I'll never forget. You were the first person that instilled in me a true sense of community and a sense of love for our community. You actually came in, you were standing in my office, we were talking for a little bit, and there was some sort of a problem. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but there was a problem that we were facing down. And you looked at me and you said, Jay, we have to protect Renatus. We have to protect what we've built. We have to, so that this will outlive us all. And the way that you said it with such, not just passion, but compassion. Understanding that Renatus provides so many with the tools they need to go out there and further their own success, their own understanding of what success can even be. And you said it with tears in your eyes. And me and Bobby T, we go back and forth on competing for King of the Criers Club. And so you're
my president. You and Bobby, you're my president. He's the vice president. That's how I feel about it. Nobody does an ugly cry like you, Jay.
Oh, and I ugly cry too. It's not pretty. Anyway, you said it with such emotion that I completely sold out. And I realized that it doesn't matter if you and I ever had a disagreement. That would be completely secondary, because I know who you are and I know your intention. I know your passion for what we do and why we do it. You were talking a lot about that, why that inspiration that you follow. You don't have to think about whether or not you're going to get up on Monday morning and start taking care of business. You do it because you are so driven by it. And I absolutely love you. I so appreciate your continued service, your love, your support, and your friendship, all the time that we get to hang out together. I love it.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I believe that wholeheartedly. In my world, like, I know we always talk about currency, like being money, but to me, as long as the relationship, nothing else matters, because we can work everything else out. Nothing can go wrong around us. Nothing can fall down around us. Everything is built up because of us. So I believe that the relationship is the most important thing. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything else, because we can fix everything else as long as we're talking and communicating and being cohesive in that for the same goal, right? The same goal is that this outlives all of us. Like, next gen, like we were in Denver, and there was a girl, her and her mom have been doing short-term rentals. I don't know, what is it, 14 months, Matt? And they just had their first $100,000 month. in doing their business, and she's 21 years old.
She's got like 30 short-term rentals, did she say?
You know what? I didn't, she apparently must have spoke on Saturday a little bit. I talked to her on Saturday, and she's quite lovely. I sat next to her.
Yeah.
But Scott was so inspired that he was sending pictures to Matt as we were taking his senior pictures. And he kept sending the same picture because it wasn't going through for whatever reason. And Scott's like, what is with Dad and this girl? He's sending this picture to me. And he goes, oh, now the words come in. And it was saying, because Scott was so inspired about what this 21-year-old girl is. And Matt's getting ready to go to college, and he doesn't really want to go to college, but he's feeling this pressure from his friends, from the school guidance counselor, because everyone's like, listen to this. We're at my house, and we had his friends over. And
I was hoping you were going to tell this story.
They were all talking about, what they're going to do and go to college and blah, blah, blah. And then they asked Matt, Matt, what's your plan? And Matt's like, he hesitated because he didn't want to say it. And he goes, I think it was one of the guys said, well, Matt doesn't even know if he wants to go to college. And they were like, what? And they go, only losers don't go to college. And I'm standing there washing the dishes. And as they're talking, I'm like, don't do it, Nance. Don't do it. And then I heard that, and I was like,
yeah.
So I walked over, I took the pizza, I put it on there, and I was like, listen, your mom didn't graduate from high school, and she's made a lot of money in her life. So that is not the measure of success. And I'm not downing college. College is great if you're going for a reason and you need it. And it's,
of course.
But right now, we're looking at college classes at being between $28,000 and $32,000 a semester.
Wow.
A semester. His freshman year in college, where our only general classes is way more than what I've been taking this education for as many years as I've been here, right? I have complimentary lifetime access because I'm in good standing, like all of those things. And I'm just like, I would love to go back to University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh and be like, hey, remember me, 1989? Remember those classes I took? I'd love to be able to get me some online stuff that's updated.
Yeah, no
right?
kidding.
So,
and for free, by the way.
Yeah.
For free right away. So, I don't know. It's been really interesting for me having a 17-year-old in the house. Feels the pressure of the world around him. And so what is on your head? You got to see this.
Protective gear.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey,
there he is.
What's up, man? You just get back from a ride?
I just rode to the office.
All right.
Getting all the good weather in.
Okay, go away.
Yes.
All right. So anyhow, that was that.
The person best positioned to keep Scott Rowe in line. You all just saw it with the Heisman stiff arm to the face.
Yeah. So anyhow, meet that girl was a huge motivation. You just never know who's going to be in the room that's going to inspire you. You hear their story, and this girl's 21 years old. Her and her mom had their first 6-figure month on their business. And Scott was like, this girl is 21 years old, and you're 17. Mm-hmm. And just so you know, whether you want to go to college or not, we don't care. There's lots of different possibilities in the world. So, it's been a different feel in our house with him trying to figure that out and maneuvering through everybody's ideas of what somebody has to do to be successful. Yeah. And I was like, I don't care if you take a gap year to figure it out. Like, I'm into whatever you want to do. I'm not pressuring you in anything. I 100% support you. But we are nudging a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's nudging a little bit.
As parents, you have to. You got to salt the hay, kind of give them as much prodding as you. I've got a daughter who this is her first semester in college, right? So my oldest moved out of my house, which,
she was in Costa Rica.
She was in Costa Rica. Yeah, I took her to Costa Rica.
That was fun.
But she moved out of my house, and now she's living on her own, and she's going to college. And so, I'll pray for you, because
he feels your pain.
I do.
Yes.
That's a whole new thing. That's a whole new world. No one prepped me for how to parent an adult child.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah. That hasn't even crossed my mind yet.
You're not even in that world yet, honey. You haven't even gotten there.
Yeah.
Brace yourself. It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing that I wasn't ready for at all.
No, not at all. So I totally feel you, and I love how you made that comparison. Just saying, yeah, you've got your son who's looking at going to college for spending his very first semester. He's going to be anywhere from $28,000 to $30,000, and that's literally. I mean, a semester is what, 3 to 4 months long. So that's the length of his education right there for $28,000 to $30,000. And our entire lineup of education is less than that. With complimentary lifetime access, it'll last forever.
Yeah. Right? I think it's good to go to college, and but it's not the measure of success. That's the thing, right? That I think people sometimes get a little caught up in. It's not a measure of success.
Right.
It can help you be successful.
Oh yeah.
But that's where it ends. It's not a measure of success.
There's so many people who think going to college is some sort of a guarantee, right? If I go to college, I'm guaranteed I'm going to get a good job, or I'm guaranteed that I'm going to have this kind of a life. And then they get disappointed when they realize, oh yeah, there is no guarantee. You can go to college and absolutely not be marketable. You cannot go to college and be incredibly marketable. It's all about how you position yourself. It's all about the value that you bring to others.
That there is it. So whatever he does, encourage him to do the work on himself.
Yeah.
And to expand his knowledge base, however he does it.
And if you have a moment where you're like, I need to commiserate with somebody, you just give me a call. We'll do this.
I forgot about that. However, it's definitely a weird space to be in. I wasn't necessarily prepared for that. Just the fact of him being gone. I'm like, what do you mean? And then Mason's like, he's leaving us for ever. I was like, you just told him to leave yesterday. And he goes, but I didn't know it was going to be so long. Yeah.
Oh man. That's my youngest is 9. She turns 10 in like a week.
Wow.
And when my oldest left, she just lost it. She was.
It's hard. They don't understand it.
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, that is rough.
Anyway, sorry, we could talk about kids all day long, but
we could.
I love your energy, and I love how passionate you are. It's so inspirational for me. This does me just a world of good, hearing about your experience, hearing about your passion, your inspirations. It inspires me all over again. So thank you for being here with us on the Renatus Jam today.
On my first jam.
On your first one. And I promise I will bring you back before the end of the year. So you just buckle up. You're going to be, you know what?
She's going to be a guest host.
Bringing her on like monthly. We're going to have like a segment with Nanci.
Yeah.
But wait a second. What is the thing that Jimmy Kimmel does? There's never time for Matt Damon.
There you go.
Yeah.
So sorry, we were going to have Nanci Rowe on, but we just don't have the time.
We'll see her next. Start doing that's funny. Oh, that is. But the problem. So, did you see the time where he actually brought Matt Damon out, and then they
when he handcuffed him?
I did see that where they ended the show right as he took over.
Yeah, that was funny. Funny.
Those
anyway,
are good.
Miss Nanci Rowe, thank you so much for being here with us. It is you to see why Bob Snyder calls you the Pack Member Supreme, because you rock. You totally rock.
You guys too. Love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you. For everyone else on the line with us, thanks for being with us. We will be back next Wednesday at the same time on the same channel. I feel like I got to say that every time, but
same channel,
same bat time, same bat channel. Never mind, you're too young. Anyway, here's the deal. Renatus truly rocks because of the people that are associated with it, and that includes each one of you. Thanks so much for being with us. Renatus rocks.